Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It is Mike's Talks and Thoughts here. Back again with another video for you guys, and I recently just finished watching the Better Call Saul 2-episode premiere here. I want to give you guys my thoughts on the episodes. So yeah, with that here, like I said, I just finished watching the 2-episode premiere here, and I absolutely enjoyed it. Both Wine and Roses and Carrot and a Stick, both phenomenal episodes, and I have so much to unpack here. Been waiting 2 years here for Better Call Saul to come back. Is in the final season here. So yeah, when I was watching it, I took a little bit of notes. I'm just going to talk about some of the scenes that happen and give my thoughts on where I think the story could be going, what I thought of each scene. There was a couple really badass scenes in these first couple episodes here, and the sneak peeks really got me intrigued for episode 3. So yeah, just give my thoughts on it. So first here, we're going to start off with Wine and Roses. So yeah, the first scene that you see when it opens up here is, of course, the black and white teaser intros for Gene. But in this case, it's actually Saul. We see a bunch of people clearing out all of Saul's possessions. So what could this be leading to? There were some Easter eggs given. It really gives me intrigued for the purpose of that scene. So, of course, that was a great opening scene here. This was the first episode back. It really takes place right where season 5 leaves off. Pretty much you follow, the first scene you see is Nacho leaving the Lalo's complex or house and fleeing. Of course, when watching that scene in season 5, they cut that part out, but eventually you see how it happens, and he gets in contact with Tyrus and tells him to lay low. Just a great first opening scene. And then from there we see Lalo. He meets up with this group, this guy and this girl that he apparently knows, and they really don't show much, but he has a pretty intriguing conversation. But he tells the one guy to shave, so he only has a mustache and a soul patch, exactly like Lalo. And you see him pick up something of a knife. So they don't show him kill the guy, but is inferred that Lalo kills this guy and has him put as staged in his spot for the assassination. So that was a great scene here from the first episode. Really hits hard. Then you see Jimmy and Kim, in the aftermath of the shooting with the cup being thrown away. And then after that scene, we see the twins, Marco and Leonel, come back. They investigate the crime scene. They see a lot of Lalo's dead family members, and they mourn, and they're just trying to investigate what happened. And then after we see the twins investigation, it cuts back to Gus. We've been waiting to see what Gus's reaction is going to be all season. At the end of season 5, the guy from the assassination squad tells the middleman that Lalo is dead. And then Bolsa calls Gus and lets him know of the assassination at Lalo's. And they think that Nacho Varga is the culprit. And if they can find him, they can find who it traces back to, which of course we know will trace back to Gus. So Gus, at this point, has to make sure that they don't get to Nacho before he does. Then after that, of course, we cut back here to Saul. He's talking with, I believe it's the prosecutor or some sort of attorney who was on the Jorge de Guzman case or the Lalo case, and talks about all her suspicions. How they have evidence that the family was faked, and how he just has $7 million in bail money. And then eventually Saul actually blurts out in the conversation, just out of pure emotion. He says Lalo's name, and then he kind of tries to brush it off, but you can definitely tell that they have their suspicions about the Eduardo, Lalo, Jorge de Guzman case there. So that was a great scene, back in the courthouse again. Then here, moving back into season 5, we have Kim and Jimmy again talking about the Sandpiper settlement case and how they can destroy Howard and ruin his reputation. This is kind of happening at a restaurant that they go to. Kim really wants to bring it up. Jimmy's still very hesitant at this point in time. Then after that, we cut back again to Nacho. We had just seen Nacho fleeing from the crime scene, and we still see him going. And this time he's at a motel. He finally gets somewhat settled in. He has money with him, a gun, and Tyrus instructs him to stay there until people pick him up and to stay out of sight of anyone. So that was great to see, following more up on Nacho after the night of the failed assassination. And then we get to one of my favorite parts of the episode, and that was the Jimmy and Kim con of Howard at the country club. Jimmy and Kim set up this whole elaborate scheme where Jimmy goes and wants to take a tour of the country club, and then Kevin from Mesa Verde is there and just completely shits on Jimmy. Tells the guy about all the stuff, I guess, that Jimmy's a problem, he's a disaster. So they kind of cut the tour short, and then Jimmy, of course, he floods the bathroom so he can get the guy away from the front desk. He finds out where Howard's locker is, and then he slips the fake cocaine in the locker there, which, frames him as him and Clifford Maynard are coming back from the golf course. Frames him to look like he got the drugs from somewhere, and it's giving Clifford this sort of image of Howard. Howard tries to play it off as best he can, but it's setting out the foundation for this big elaborate scheme that they have against Howard, and it was a really great start to that aspect here for the season. And then next year, this was probably my favorite scene in the entire episode. This was, of course, the last few minutes here from the first episode. We get Lalo. He looks like he's going to be heading back to the United States across the border to go after Gus. And then eventually he calls Hector on his phone and he tells him that he's alive. So Hector is now given hope that Lalo is alive. Lalo confirms that he calls him, and he talks with Hector, and he said how he's gonna go up there and he's gonna hurt Gus's business, and then he's gonna kill him. But Hector knows that if he goes up there without any proof of anything, he's not gonna be well looked upon by the other Dons, Don Eladio, Bolsa, all those guys who were siding with Gus. So instead of Lalo going back to the United States, he stays in Mexico to go find Nacho. And there's such a great scene there with him at the border with the two guys who are taking the money, and they refuse to give Lalo his money back. And Lalo's like, all right, you don't want to be a nice guy? And of course he ends up killing them both, giving all the people their money back. It's such a badass scene. You really don't even see the shootout, but such a badass Lalo scene, just enforcing his way and, bringing back that charismatic charm of Lalo that we know. So that was the end of season 1. It was really actually difficult. I saw a lot of people online, including myself, to distinguish when episode 2 started to when episode 1 ended. Most people said that it was at the end. I believe it was the end where the shooting with Lalo was the end of episode 1. That was such a great episode. It was such a great start to the season. I would give it like a 9 out of 10 here. It was really, really good, and really got me intrigued to watch the second episode. It was like a really seamless transition, no intro or anything for this second episode, carrot and a stick. So starting off in this episode, we cut back here to Nacho's house back in America, and we see Mike and Tyrus and a few other people, going through the house. The two women that are there, they give them money to leave and tell them not to come back. And then they scrounge the house for anything, and they find the safe, which Mike in turn, sees the IDs, gets the IDs out of there and they end up putting another safe in place of that one, setting up Juan Bolsa when he goes and suspects what's happening there. They leave a piece of paper there that shows the phone number of the hotel that Nacho is staying at. So this is part of course, the big plan here. Then next year, of course, we have Jimmy and Kim, mainly Jimmy this time, of course, back in the conning ways here. Jimmy, in this case, goes back to the Kettlemans, which we know from season 1. And, him and Kim have been talking how they want this storyline where they want these clients to go to Clifford, Maine, and talk to Howard about the cocaine problem. So what he ends up doing is Jimmy goes and talks to the Kettlemans, and he mentions Clifford, Maine's name. He talks about how the Kettlemans, or Craig Kettleman, didn't have the proper counseling, how Howard was under the influence at this time, and then they take their business over to Clifford and Maine, and Clifford doesn't prove, or he doesn't think that Howard is involved in this. So it's all part of their big plan here to kind of screw with the Kettlemans in this con. And again, another plan against Howard here. And then next year for another big scene. This was, again, probably my favorite scene, or one of my favorite scenes in the episode here. We see Gus and Bolsa here talking with Hector. And, Hector at this point from the last episode knows that Lalo is alive. And Bolsa's trying to, make amends with Gus and with Hector. And what happens is, they're making amends. And Hector, seems not as mad as you would think he is, or how Gus perceives him to be. And then the key indicator here is when Hector puts out his hand and looks at Gus. Now, for any of you Breaking Bad fans, you know that whenever Hector is pissed at Gus, he will refuse to look at him. Of course, the iconic line from Gus, last chance to look at me, Hector. He knows that when Hector looks at him, that everything's fine. And then when he leaves, he finds out that Hector knows that Lalo's alive. And he finds out because of Hector's body language here. So just a really great scene, gives a lot of details away. And if you're a Breaking Bad fan, you definitely picked up on that interaction between Hector and Gus. And then another scene here that really, there was a lot of great Breaking Bad flashback moments here, just to name a few. Of course, when Nacho, still suspicious and he finds the guy spying on him. And then the twins come, of course, kicking down everyone's door trying to find Nacho. And then Nacho gets in that truck and he freaking ends up backing it up on the twins. That reminded me so much of the scene, of course, with the Hank and twins shootout from season 3 of Breaking Bad when Hank backs his car up into, I believe it was Lionel. That was just great flashback. And then, of course, the flashback with the sniper, of course, when Mike's about to head in to talk to Gus and Tyrus about the whole Nacho situation, the guy's pointing the sniper rifle. Really reminded me of the episode in season 4 when Gus stands his ground against the cartel. That's a great, powerful scene and just a great callback. Saul, when he mentions Judge Papadumian from season 5, he talks about when him and Mike are in the room with Hank and Gomez. He says how Judge Papadumian hates harassment of senior citizens. So another great Breaking Bad callback here. But yeah, and then you eventually, like I said, with the sniper scene, Mike, Tyrus, and Gus all talking, and Mike, is just trying to find a way to get to Nacho. He's trying to let Gus know that if I go and find Nacho, I can bring him home. And then Gus is trying to, again, threaten Nacho's father, but Mike is just not having that at all. Mike stands his ground for Nacho, which was very great to see. And then finally here, probably my favorite scene of any of the scenes that we saw in the first 2 episodes, we have Kim's badass scene, man. When they go to the Kettlemans and they play this, they play the card again where they can't find a lawyer to represent them against Howard. They come crawling back to Jimmy, and then Kim recognizes that they're going to end up playing Jimmy in the end, or screwing him, telling them about this whole scheme against Howard. Kim has the one up, makes a call with people she knows through the IRS about the tax fraud going on at the tax place that the Kettlemans own, and just such a badass scene. She really asserts dominance here against the Kettlemans. Such a badass scene. I hated Betsy the whole 2 episodes, and it really was great to see her, get her comeuppance. Kim was just freaking amazing in this scene. Kim really killed it in this scene. I think the acting was just phenomenal throughout both episodes. But I do think that this episode was a little bit worse than episode 1. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 here. That Kim scene is still my favorite here from the Better Call Saul Season 6. But still a phenomenal episode, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. A lot of great moving parts here. The big storylines to take away is, of course, the Nacho situation and the Howard situation. That's like the 2 main themes that went on with these first 2 episodes here. What's going to happen with Nacho? Who's going to get to him first? How are they going to escape this? How is Nacho going to escape this alive? What's going to happen with Nacho? And then what's going to happen with Howard? Is this Sandpiper case going to get settled soon? How far are they going to go to destroy Howard's reputation? Will the Kettlemans still be involved in this scheme later on? How much will Clifford Maine be in this? Will they include Schweikart and Coakley? Will they expand this outwards? How bad are they going to ruin Howard here? So yeah, those are my takeaways here from the premiere of Better Call Saul. Let me know in the comments, and let me know if you guys want to see this week to week here. I'm definitely open to it, but I want to see how the viewership is looking, because I definitely want to put out something. If you guys are interested in it, I'm definitely all for it, but I just need to see that you're supportive. So again, just leave me a comment down below, or like the video, or subscribe. Any one of those ways to support the channel to let me know that you're sticking around for the Better Call Saul Season 6 reviews that I can do after each episode. If not, I will give my thoughts here, and then at the very end of the season, I will do a recap and a review of the finale. So let me know what option you want to see. Wait until the end of the season to do a full review, or do a week-to-week basis review. Again, leave it down in the comment section below. Without further ado, thank you guys for watching, and peace out.